Testing, testing, just making sure you guys can hear me. All right, so audio is good. All right, let's see. Hey Jano, hey Shorty, hey D. Okay. I'm not feeling the best, but I have some pertinent information for you all. Some of you, this may not resonate, and for some of you, it might be very important. And as you know, I am working more and more with allowing a free flow of the channeling of the energy. So, give me a moment to throw out some cards, and then we will get into this. Okay. I'm going to just leave it up as I am shuffling. If it gets too loud, please let me know. Okay, precisely what I was feeling. Thank you for your patience as I am transforming in what I do here, being more open. And of course, my erratic scheduling. But I promise you, this will be right on time. Yep. Okay. Let me timestamp. Before I do that, I just want to discuss with you members. I want to know feedback from you guys if you feel the shift in energy, the shift in things. Just want to check with you guys and see how you're doing with that. Information is different. It's very flowing. It's interesting because I am having a hard time keeping up with the energy input at times. So make sure that you're balancing and resting, you guys. It's very important, okay, to take care of your electromagnetic field. Jano, I had a really rough day, but yeah, there is. Shorty, my ass is being kicked, no lie. D, I feel stressed about a few things right now. Well, hopefully you being here in this message will kind of give you some clarity and help you. After this reading, I probably will break and do one more short little thing. We'll see how timing is. If not, then we'll reconvene tomorrow for those of you who this resonates for. And we're going to go through like an active, I wanted to say yod, a pointing of the finger of where you need to look and what needs to be done. Okay, if you're interested in that, after this video, just comment below. And this is members only. And we will see what we can do here. All right, I'm time stamping 7:36. Okay. So you can already see there's some pretty hefty energies on the board here. We have Mars, we have Saturn, we have the Sun, and we of course have this energy of duality and unity, right? Definitely what I'm feeling. Fourth house, fifth house. Uranus is here, you know, gracing us with the presence. And so let's get into this. I have received frequency codes to decipher a sense of belonging. Okay. And so I'm going to go through some of the energies that you might be experiencing. This is just a hypothetical. You may not experience this embodiment of the energy exactly the same. So you may have to flux it a little bit. My cat's going to jump on the table. Hi, Tig. What are you doing, Bubby? You got to get down. One moment, please. And of course, Pluto just graced us with the energy on the board because it was the only one missing here. So we will discuss Pluto as well. So let me jot that down because nothing happens for no reason. All right, so some of you guys might be experiencing a situation where you have had a betrayal that has really been difficult to deal with, and it is forcing you out of sort of this over contributing, over giving, over doing, and potentially feeling like a slave to this situation, to what you're doing energy. So it's pushing you out of the role of overdoing. Now, some of you may experience this in a workplace scenario. It could be a partnership, a friendship, a social group. I don't know. You apply it where it goes. There is this energy where you are dealing with people that sort of are in the energy of hypocrisy, disruption, demanding, maybe even projecting perfectionism, making you uncomfortable. And this is going to apply in a situation for some of you where you don't feel like you have a choice. So an example is your work. You cannot choose who you have to serve if you're under a corporation or a company, right? They're going to bring in patients. They're going to bring in the people that you work with and things like that. So it's coming through a situation where you feel a sense of quicksand or stuck. So for some of you, this will be like a rebellion that you're seeing within the workplace. And this can embody within you, or it can embody within someone else. I'm specifically hearing if their name starts with an A, J, or S, and E. This might resonate for you as well. That might be your sign. Okay. So it feels like a frequency of you doing a lot. And there is a lack of reciprocation. There's a lack of accountability. There's a lack of reciprocity. There's a lack of compassion. Okay. And it feels very much triggering for somebody here. It feels very much like you're really considering whether you should walk away from a job or walk away from something here that you've invested time into, because you're starting to just feel that turbulence so strongly that it's hard. So you're feeling the energy of this great disruptor. That's what you're feeling. How that manifests, like I said, is going to be a little different for you. So why are you feeling sort of this energy from a person, or, you know, maybe a person in power? Maybe you're dealing with a supervisor, a It could be a love situation. I mean, insert it here. But why is this person behaving in this manner? Why are they distracted and sort of noise and having all of this energy going on with them? And it's sort of this outward projection of this earthquake that's going on within them, this sort of shatteredness. Okay. And what this really represents to me is someone is spiritually lost, or maybe they lack a sense of trust, or there's some sort of energy within them where they have disconnected their heart. Okay. Now, some of you may be trying to make sense of the situation. Okay. But I assure you, you're not going to be able to make sense of it. The main thing that you are understanding is that there's a lack of compassion. It doesn't matter like where this is manifesting at, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a family situation, whether it's work related, whether it's, social group, you're feeling a lack of compassion somewhere. Okay. Someone is having sort of this over controlling type of structure that is just making you feel like enslaved, or making you feel like you have to do more. And it's to the point where you cannot ignore it anymore. Why is that? Because where you're feeling this energy, there's not a sense of belonging. It's getting to the point where you absolutely cannot tolerate this frequency any longer. Okay, because this group, this friend, this partner, this work situation, okay, this social group, I don't know, the we of this situation needs to be defined. Okay. And the we that you want to enter into and belong naturally to is one with compassion. So you have somebody who's wanting to overcompensate by controlling their environment. Okay. Potentially making you overserve, potentially making you feel a sense of contraction, or making you feel a sense of stuck or slavery, sort of like this betrayal, even energy, where you feel like exhausted, or maybe like you're not resting. They're wearing you out. And it's sort of like this duality, or this double toroidal field here that's going on. It's sort of like the mirror representation of love and compassion versus separation, or love, compassion, and unity versus separation. Okay. And overly like strict structure. So what do you do if you resonate with this and you're at the point where you absolutely cannot tolerate it anymore, and you've been considering sort of severing this because you really don't understand how to work with this? Okay. So we really need to take a look at why you're feeling a sense of overserving, or why you're doing more, or what is actually happening here, right? Now, for those of you that resonate at work, it could have to do with like an internal feeling of, compassion, and those around you right now, certain situations may not be in that same frequency. So therefore, this is why it's really important to be in a group, or be in alignment with a job and whatnot, of things that you have a sense of natural belonging to. Okay. But what you view as worth is not the same as this person or the situation. Okay, so maybe they're measuring your worth based upon performance, how many patients you see, how many people you deal with, how many people you serve. But it's like what you're providing, it's non-quantifiable, like measurable wise, because it's coming from a sense of compassion and it's very unique frequency that only you can provide. Okay. But you've tried to sort of work within this structure, and it feels like this sort of Aries energy, this sacred warrior, is being triggered. So now we kind of have to deal with it here. There's something that has to do with like tortured need to serve here. I just want to say that. So just kind of be aware of that frequency. But the reason you're feeling this great disturbance, this rebellion or a sense of wanting to rebel, it's to break you free from this. Okay. It's to break you free from the situation. There's multiple different ways that you can do that. Okay. It doesn't just always mean like severing it, like with Aries. It can be different here. But this betrayal that you have, there's something where something's going to happen where it's like the last straw, or there's something where you can't deal with it anymore, or something is just, it's culminating to the point where you're like, I have got to get out of this situation. I don't want to serve this situation anymore. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to, give to this. I don't want to feel the way that I feel. You know what I mean? Like, so it's sort of like this betrayal that forces you to release that role, change your role, a change in position, right? And I am noticing and picking up in the frequency that a lot of people that you're dealing with, or this particular person, lacks presence because there's a lack of compassion. Okay. You can't be fully present if you're not in your heart, right? Someone's need to control a situation is actually controlling them, right? They have some unresolved emotional issues that's sort of shutting down their heart. And so therefore they're having a really difficult time serving in a sense of compassion and love. I feel like someone has been overgrounding. I don't know what that means to you. Someone's been overgrounding, or maybe they feel overgrounded because of this sort of slavery structure is what we're going to call it, because it's what it feels like in this energy on my board. Over contributing, overdoing it, till the point where it's keeping you pretty freaking exhausted. But overgrounding pulls off your movement, right? It pulls off your electric energy, which is exhausting you. So there is a need for rest here. There is. But this sort of sacred activation of the sacred soldier here, the sacred warrior, it's bringing in some pretty stark truth, and it's touching this very strict structure, and it's saying, there's a real truth here that we have to see that is severing us from our sense of self here. This person's really sort of the person who is bringing this turbulence to the plate, but it's allowing you to see something that you didn't see all the way before here. And that's being in a group here, or part of something where there's not a common cause. If you're flowing in compassion and you're dealing with people who are uncompassionate, you can see the mismatch in energy here. Right? So now you have this energy within you that's trying to really have a disciplined approach with how it deals with this type of frequency opposition to this, okay? I feel like I heard we unite and overcome. They divide and conquer. So see separation and, achievement. So someone is under the old structure of divide and conquer. So you can take that as it resonates. But you are in the frequency of unite and overcome, right? Freedom, slavery, okay? And then you have your defense system here trying to correct this mismatch of energy. So this energy here is wanting to shatter sort of this control, this over controlling authority energy, or this over controlling structure, or the corruption, that's preventing a person here from actually feeling a sense of achievement or feeling a sense of unity, right? It doesn't want to be in an energy of separation anymore. And authentically, because Aries is this self, authentically you are love. You are compassion. And when you're love, the hate's going to push back. That's just a part of the energy. So maybe that is what you're feeling. So I see you very much refining the people that you deal with here and creating a different structure where you throw out the old things that are not working. And I'm seeing like the round table, right? It's not just one person, it's a we, but this we is defined as a sense of belonging, of love and compassion, right? No longer are we allowing a we that is the opposition. We're not giving energy to that anymore is what I'm saying here. And what you're really understanding is that an environment no longer fits your authenticity. It doesn't fit love, compassion, unity. And there's a compassion indifference. You're looking for equals. We and a belonging of equals on this round table. Okay? Not someone who treats you like you're beneath them or ignores you or has this overly strict structure, right? These are all things that would be a sign. Okay, you can't be doing all the service, or you can't be feeling like a slave here. And you're choosing to no longer be in dissonance, I feel like, and instead be in a unity type of energy here. So this is about how you transmute this energy. It's interesting because I'm seeing the round table and I'm seeing 12. So I'm seeing 6 in the light. There's a 6. And I'm seeing 6th house. So sense of service. So 6 is united to overcome, and 6 is divided to conquer. Or they're dividing to conquer. So you have 12. And I'm seeing 33. So if you're exhausted or you can't, if you're exhausted, it's a form of control, right? It's bleeding you of your power, of your energy. If you're rested, you're concentrated. Your energy's concentrated, okay? And I'm feeling like those that you're feeling this frequency from are those that are refusing to release like the old structure, the old outdated, over strict, not fair type of way. And technically, love is your contribution. You don't even need to do anything else but just be compassionate. Okay. But I feel like you may be in a role or around a certain person who expects you to do a lot to place worth and value. So you know your worth and value is coming from your heart and it's coming from within. You know, that's your purpose. That's what it is that you're supposed to be doing here, because we got this fifth frequency here. So, but it's causing you to have like this little bit of a lack of a trust because you fear being controlled like this. You don't want this. You want liberation. You want freedom. Okay. Hey, newbie. Welcome in. So your love is your frequency. It's your signal. Remember we talked about some of the readings previous that we had to clear out some of our heart space and mind clutter because it needed to be completely clear in order to receive from God. Okay. And now you're signaling from the heart. That's how you're projecting God into the world. And for some of you, it could be the mind. Okay. But you and your heart is your signal that you're pushing out. And so electromagnetically, if you're pushing the signal out, it's sort of like this opposition energy here. So you're pushing out, we unite and overcome. And this energy is pushing out separation, enslavement, divide, and conquer. And you want liberation from this structure that's ridiculous. So you're really learning what true belonging is for you, right? And this truly is defining what we is. And we belong to, for whoever this energy is, a compassion and love type of frequency. Okay, so you may be cutting someone off, you may be silencing somebody, because they're noise. It's very possible that this could culminate, in the next couple of days here. But remember, my readings resonate all the way up. But I feel like this is all about timing with Capricorn here and putting this reading out. So the environment no longer fits your authenticity of love and unity. There's a compassionate indifference here. So you're looking for partners that treat you equally because that's how you view things. And you're seeing that you have people around you, partners, friendship, groups, coworkers, supervisors here that are sort of separated within, and they see me versus you, and it should be we. So you're clearly seeing it. There's no way that you can ignore this anymore. Okay, so you're also realizing that no matter what you do, that someone just simply is lacking the compassion. They're incapable of it right now because of something that's going on the inside. And this is where the dissonance is coming from. So you are protecting your heart and you're protecting it from the structure that is separating, that is making you feel a sense of slavery, okay, or over contributing. And it's like you're taking the order from God, and this situation, it's like a corrupt leader. They're taking, so love versus hate is what I'm feeling. So it's a very oppositional energy here, okay? So your heart is a revolutionary force, and it's kicking up some dust because some people are sort of, it's affecting people who haven't done the work, and it's creating sort of an environment that no longer fits your authenticity because there's a need to control you, is what I'm feeling, or try to make you exhausted or overdoing. So this isn't a good situation, really, to be honest with you, but it's showing you where the problem lies, like where the hole in the armor is, and sort of showing you also that you kind of are in this very compassionate energy, and you have tried to bring unity to a situation wherever this might be. You did try, but you can't let it sever you or separate you from God, right? In your heart and whatnot here, because somebody can't see. I just heard your ophthalmologist retired and it shows because you can't see. I don't know. So you're becoming a revolutionary force, okay? So you may be feeling a little bit of rebellious energy inside, but it's like you're not allowing that to run you because you have balance. You're feeling like you're going to sort of bring up this revolutionary energy to liberate or free yourself. Let's say that. Liberate your heart. So this is like bringing up this energy of like a great break here from hate, from the noise, from separation. I just heard Aries, arise. So Aries is arising because it has to defend the heart or defend the connection with God, defend the unity, defend the spirit, defend the soul, right? So where there's been some disruption within you because you're trying to figure out, is this going to shift? What do I need to do here? Now you're seeing it really culminate. Like I said, for some of you, it's a betrayal that forces you out of a environment or situation because it just doesn't fit you anymore, but it forces you also out of this sort of over contribution, this overdoing it, and for some of you who feel slavery, like out of that situation where you are having to do everything, or out of a situation where you feel like someone's ignoring you or treating you like you're beneath them. They're not treating you as an equal. Someone's disruptive too. You're going to know who this is because there's a lot of freaking noise. It's just disruptive energy. They're disruptive. They're going to, it's disruptive. And what is the opposition to disruption? It's silence. So that's why I think you guys are going to sever sort of like the communication with this person. You're going to keep it straight, task oriented here. You're not going to give them the opportunity to sort of hook you emotionally or hook you where you're compassionate. It's interesting how you're going to handle this situation. But you're basically severing the hate, the hatred, the division, right? You're moving away from that. And for some of you, you're doing it and creating a peace within you, right? Because you're shutting down with silence. You're becoming this radiant revolutionary energy, or let's say revolutionary radiance. Okay. I heard 12 is the divine order and authority. This sacred warrior has authority as well. I heard you're coming together with people who the we is love and compassion, and it's like a symphony. Every instrument can be beautiful on its own, but together you can create something transcendently creative and beautiful. That's it's amplified in the we of belonging. I heard 528. The heart transforms the legacy. The heart is the legacy. Love and compassion is the legacy. Yellow, green. I'm saying yellow and green. That could be your people. You know, it's interesting. It's funny because I did this the other day. Hold on. It's really interesting. That's interesting, is it not? Green and yellow is your people. Green and yellow is your people. I think green is the heart chakra. Yellow is the spirit or sun or the light. I also have a green shirt on. Not that it matters, but I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? See the green? Have green eyeliner on too, but we're just gonna stop with that. But anyways, green is significant. If you see green or yellow, that's a big deal, so you need to pay attention. This could be part of your, like, I heard spirit of the round table, so this could be your important belonging of we, you know what I mean? Love, heart, spirit. I just heard it's the conductor. And I was talking about a symphony just a minute ago, and I freaking lost my train of thought because I heard the green and yellow. But each instrument is wonderful on its own, but together it creates a symphony, and it's conducting the energy. It's almost like an energy conductor, and it's unity embodiment. Okay, I'm hearing DNA is the communicator to God. Phono sound, symphony, photo energy. I just heard 528. Love and transformation. Be careful of your... I really want to stress, because I don't feel like I said this enough, because I'm getting the hit to say it. This is the 8th house, so the 2nd house is worth. It's and I said briefly, which I don't feel like I went into it nearly enough, but I said briefly that what you're giving and contributing to the world is your heart, right? But it seems like people externally to you are sort of applying the sense of worth to you based upon what you do, and it's like never good enough. And you know your worth. Remember who you are. Like, you know your worth. Okay? And it's in your compassion and love. And you need to be surrounded by sort of like the spirits of the round table here that's coming from the same we and unity, because you have to have trust. This person lacks trust, I feel, for whatever reason. But your sense of worth is your heart, and it is your signal, your frequency. The separation is the slavery, truly. The great break from the noise. I heard Okay, back on this, DNA is the communicator of God. I'm hearing intelligence, 12, the divine order and authority. And then I'm getting a hit for the right hemisphere of the brain. I just heard heart, spirit, and then the left is the soul, mind, and you may be getting, some of that projected ego from somebody here. Okay. But some of you have a fear of merging because every time you do here with the 8 here, you feel like you're being controlled. They get a glimpse of what you can do and what you are, like the frequency of compassion and love, and they want to enslave you, whether it's in relationships or work, or because, again, and I said this slightly, some of you guys, they cannot measure the impact and influence that you have because your heart is pouring out God. And so it's very difficult to measure those parameters. They just know that people like you. Okay. But they base the worth off of like do and like parameters, like a number or something. Okay. I heard 6. I heard open the cube. Go to the round table. Open the cube. Sever the cube. Don't remain in dissonance. Some of you guys might be low on magnesium or calcium. Watch again for overgrounding. Okay. What you do is not your worth. It's what's coming from inside of you is your worth. It's like the compassion, though, that you ask for them to provide, they are unable to, So it's like there's a shattering of authenticity here. And I feel like you are influencing your environment because you choose to no longer be dealing with that. You want to truly let your heart expand and free, be free. They just can't, they don't have the compassion that they can't give the compassion that maybe they have inside of them because they're just incapable of doing that because they're separated within. They see value as external worth, like things external, like matter, material, like numbers. But here's the thing. I feel like it's not good for your energy because these people are holding on to the old. They're clinging to the old structure and it's just not working anymore. Secondly, I feel like your frequency of love, I feel like this person's hate and I don't know what's going on inside of them. And it's not my place to read on that. I don't want to read on that, but they're in a sense of severing within and you're in a sense of unity. It just doesn't work. The energy doesn't work. Like the environment's not working, right? And I feel like there's this real understanding of love is your authenticity. It is your frequency. It's your frequency, your signal that you're pushing off. And I feel like you're becoming, I don't know how to say this and not sound ridiculous, but you're becoming flame resistant. Because you're really embodying this sacred warrior of fire, your sacred flame. I just heard horse. I don't know. And what has once I don't know what this means, but what has once affected your sacred geometry is being opened and removed and combined in a way that creates a patch. It reduces decay and degeneration, and it reduces re-narrowing. I don't know. So 8th house can be the place of self-undoing, and maybe some of you really feel like you have tried to do a lot for someone as they healed or done some things, and it's creating a sense of like you're feeling enslaved, and you're feeling tired, and it's like you really kind of can't do what you've been doing anymore. So it's sort of like recognizing that like this role that you've been playing in this situation, you can't keep it up anymore because you've carried the load as long as you can, or you've dealt with it as long as you can, right? And it's starting to become an issue in your energy here. So you have no choice. You have to, come back in unity. You have to. I mean, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But I'm just saying that seems to be the internal force is forcing back towards unity. So it's coming from the inside. And you're getting this pushback on the outside, trying to control you so you can't reconnect or maintain in unity. It's trying to bleed your energy off, make you feel exhausted and tired. There's nothing to fear here, so don't feel like I'm saying that. This is just something that's microscopically going on and internally going on, right? And so you, with the 8th house, I heard Pluto, don't forget Pluto. You may be feeling like you've dissolved your sense of self, right? Like that's been a form of control, is the dissolution of your energy, right? And you being compassionate has been a bit of a self-undoing, right? Like in that house. So you're concentrating your energy, which equals manifestation, and you're concentrating it for the purpose to be in heart-centered space and compassion, to be part of a we and belong, equal. You want equal people on this, in this round table. I don't know why I keep getting that, but I am. The we, the belonging and compassion of the we. I just heard 8 is the power. 9 is the love. So you're embodying this radiance. Again, you're sitting down at this round table. You're becoming a symphony at 528. Unity embodiment. I heard correspondence. Okay, so the we is defined. Pluto the transformer. It is transforming and revolutionizing the way that you connect to people from this point forward. It's releasing the control. It's showing you exactly where you're feeling this energy and why. You're overgiving because someone lacks love. And you are that frequency. I heard Aries, arise, protect. Some of you guys, this may not resonate for some of you, but I feel like there could be a bit of a Juno energy, like a lower Juno energy. So like jealousy, sort of like an oppositional mirror. And I think that's why I'm getting at like Gemini, sort of energy there. Not that I'm saying anything's wrong with Geminis. I'm saying that this energy just feels like it's not, the most high vibrational. It's sort of in this separation energy. I just heard the letter A. You may be having an issue with someone whose name starts with an A. I hear A, J, and S. And I just heard liberation and the removal of guilt. You could have someone around you that you've had to support, care for, or they will be there for you as well with the letters B, K, and T. So the situation, as bad as it was, I feel like it really gave you this wonderful gift because it showed you, it gave you understanding about belonging and how to revolutionize this and how to, I want to say how to bridge it. And for some of you, you will have the great break from somebody because it's just the absence of negotiation is war, right? Like, and you know that it's not meant towards you. This is literally coming from the inside of someone because they don't know how to overcome that. And when you realize that it's specifically not targeted towards you and it's really a lack of spiritual trust and spiritual connection, spiritual unity, you see that this person is hurting, and that's why you have done the things that you've done energetically, because you are that frequency of love. So specifically if you're an Aquarius, you really need to watch out for the letter E. I don't know why I need to say that, but I am. E is a big deal. If you see E, it's not the right vibrational frequency. I had trouble even getting that out. I don't know if I was supposed to tell you that or not, but I just did, so. And it's really brought up your sacred warrior to protect, But this is burning hot. And I feel like you're combining the two energies here to you're combining them and creating something new, something that makes it work together. I don't know. This is going to be some of that round table energy of we and compassion. The symphony. What was depleting you, now you're using it to, prevent a re-narrowing or recontraction of the energy and a degradation of the body. So hopefully that helped you. When this situation does happen, understand that it's to really point you to freedom, where you maybe have been doing all of this work, right? And there's certain places where it's a little bit more difficult to do this work, and friends or work environment is really difficult, right? Because you don't have as much free will there. I mean, you have the free will to stay or go, but I'm just saying it's a little different. And Saturn here is really saying to have structure, but it's like we're gonna have a structure here where there's we in sort of like this. We is defined as not just we do the same task, but we is coming from the inside of love and compassion and really working with that energy to come into unity. So it's really beautiful. I don't like the fact that you're going to go through a situation that's going to feel like a betrayal to you, and it's going to force you out of this role, out of this energy, out of this structure. Okay. But that is what I got for you. So I heard let it fall. Let the compassion and indifference fall. I heard what if you just let it fall apart, what you have worked so hard to keep together that has made you feel so decentralized. I just heard decentralization of power. Anyways, concentrate your energy. And silence the noise. Okay? All right, I love you guys. That's what I got for you. I hope that this helps you. I don't want to say anything about like doing this thing, but at some point here, we're going to do a little something if you're interested. I'll have you jot down some things and think about something, and then maybe we can have like a members only live where you guys come on and talk, and we can like openly talk about this. Okay, sort of like a round table. So it's up to you guys. I want to make it available to you. Plus you can get insight from the members, gives you a little extra something if you guys want to. But I love you guys, and rest and do what you need to do. Take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. But until I see you again, transcend. Peace.